Previously on the Embracing the Journey podcast.
Talk to me about the injury. What happened?
I had to relearn a different way of connecting my body with my brain. No one could figure out what to do or even diagnose it. 3 years later, we finally got the right diagnosis. Didn't want to believe that this was my, quote, new normal.
Even though the sport has taken your leg from you, you still love it.
Yes.
Have you felt that people may look or treat you differently given the fact of your disability?
Yeah, so basically for me it's like I train with able-bodied athletes. I don't train with, especially in Seattle, because like when I contacted this area, there was no para track clubs you can join, and they didn't know anything about it. Pretty much all they had was like, oh, you can rent racing wheelchairs. That's all we offer.
That was it.
Yeah, so basically I was like, okay. So I had to find a coach that was be willing to train me, even though pretty much everything I've done now is the same as able-bodied athletes. Early on, there were some things that we had to adjust, and like, for example, the blocks and the way that works a little bit, just little, and then how much I train based on my disability and what I can and cannot do.
Wow. So how many people do you train with?
It's only a few. I think it's like 3 or 4.
Okay, and are they all emerging elite or?
They're just a variety of different things. Some are just regular high school kids wanting to get faster, stuff like that, or for their sport. And some are track athletes who are trying to, get scholarships, etc. for college.
Wow. This is so amazing, right? And like I have this like huge smile on my face because, again, I've seen what Paralympic athletes or para-athletes are capable of. And it's so interesting the willpower that you have not to let that defeat you.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning and you're putting your shoes on, and you're putting your brace on, and you're putting all your stuff in your bag to get ready to go to practice, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about the difficulties that you've had to overcome? Are you thinking about all the barriers that may be in place for you? Are you thinking about having to emerge in this completely new space that you haven't had to be in before? What's going on?
Honestly, when I'm getting ready, I guess I'm just used to it. So, with like, I think I have like 3 or 4 different braces for different, whether I do weightlifting or if I do running or some type of plyos. Like there's different braces for all of that. Like I usually carry 3 to 4 pairs of shoes plus several braces for my situation. And so for me, it's just like, I don't want to be, on the track. It's just, I'm a sprinter, not, I have all these barriers to overcome. I just want to be treated just like everyone else on the track.
Love it. Love it. What's been the hardest thing for you in this disability? What's been the toughest challenge that you've come up against?
I think early on, there were doctors that told me I would never be able to run again. They told me I should just take up swimming to keep the weight off. They actually said that.
Really?
Yeah. So it was like just finding a doctor that was willing to give me a chance rather than someone who's just like, sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah.
And because everything is so new, no one knows this situation. Even the surgery itself was experimental. So, everything's just been trying and failing and seeing what works and what doesn't.
That's crazy. And I say that's crazy in a sense that I know doctors are probably saying this to you just so they can cover their own butt.
Yeah.
But the fact that they said that and then you are where you are now.
Yeah.
At a point, you're extremely vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Like you want answers.
Yeah.
And this doctor gives you the answer that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Most people would have been like, okay, this is the new normal. Why didn't you take that?
Because I wanted to be able to do everything. Like it was early on and I couldn't do anything. It was hard for me to walk. It was, and every time I would walk, I would like injure myself because I don't have like, so basically the nerves, there's some like pain nerves and some function nerves. And some of them that were injured were the function nerves. So I would, so without that, I would just constantly sprain my ankle or do something to my knee because I didn't have the stability in any of that areas because the muscles and nerves were not working at all.
I couldn't imagine. And I'm quite stubborn when it comes to sports, but I couldn't imagine. I had gone through a knee surgery in 2013, and the doctor told me that it'd be about a 3-month recovery and then I'd be back to normal.
Yeah.
Taylor, it was nowhere near 3 months.
Yeah.
I think I was 9 months in. Physically, I think I was ready in 3 months. Mentally, 9 months later, I got the confidence and the courage to try to run a lap.
Yeah.
And then I was feeling all this pain in my head that actually wasn't going to my knee. And a few months after that, season starts.
Yeah.
You know, at the time I was sponsored by ASICS. And I got my ASICS uniform on and I walk up to my coach and I said, "Coach, I'm scared." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "I don't know if my knee's going to hold up." Mind you, for like 2 or 3 months prior to that, I was running and I was jumping and I was doing all this stuff. But I never had to put that much impact on my knee gearing up for a long jump that was outside of competition, right? So he said, "What are you afraid of?" And I said, what if I hurt it more? And he said, "What if you don't?" And he said, "Wouldn't you rather get hurt doing what you love?" And I said, "I think so." So he said, "Go show me what you got." I stand on the runway. I remember I closed my eyes and I said, "Please don't let this end with me coming out and having to get another surgery." Open my eyes and I began to run down the runway.
Yeah.
And I opened up that season with the #1 jump in the world. Psychologically, was the hardest thing for me to overcome because I didn't know if my knee had what it took to have me do what it is that I want to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I was able to escape. And I don't have to wear a brace. I don't have to do anything. The doctor told you similar things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And you overcame that.
Yeah.
And you're doing it without the same limbs that you had.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like, if I don't think that I'm strong enough emotionally and mentally to be in the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
I think I would have tried to explore other options. So it's super motivating and inspiring to hear what you've gone through and for you to still be kicking butt and taking names while doing it. Have you always been like that go-getter type of individual?
Yeah, I've been competitive pretty much so basically sports was like, for me, was like where I would excel, because in the classroom I just struggled with everything. So that was a place where I felt confidence in. So that's where just because of this, like, I guess, hurdle in the way. I felt like, because in the classroom, everything I did was always a struggle. And so I think from that, I learned how to overcome a variety of different things because of what I overcame in the classroom.
Wow. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Different.
Weird.
Quiet. Mighty.
Unstoppable.
Incredible.
What makes you different makes you great.
Embrace your punch.
Welcome back to Embracing the Journey podcast. So you've talked about disabilities.
Yeah.
What type of learning disabilities are we referring to?
Yeah, so basically, I had issues with reading and writing. So, I wasn't really formally diagnosed until 5th grade, and then they realized that I was math and reading and writing, I was several grades behind. So that's when they tested me and found that I did have reading comprehension issue. So then I started get tutoring and stuff like that to be able to get back up to the level I did before. And because of that, like for tests and stuff like that, I got they were a little different. So I got extra time on tests and then different formats of testing just to be able to do what everyone else was able to do in the classroom.
So was school hard for you?
Yes. Yeah, I struggled with I'm in some ways a little bit of a perfectionist. So I wanted A's and all of that being perfect, but it became clear that that's just not going to happen. And some class I get C's and stuff like that, but luckily my parents were okay with it, knowing as long as you did your best, that's all that matters.
We haven't spoken much about your parents. How was it for your parents seeing you in your 20s having to deal with this?
It was definitely a struggle, because the surgery was a mistake. That's what the thing about it was that one, the surgeon wouldn't admit that they made a mistake, which obviously was clear to everyone. They had me do a bunch of different testing that were brain, spine, some random things.
Trying to find any way to make it somebody else's fault?
Or finding, you have this underlying health condition.
Anything.
Yeah, and then they I forget what they tried to do all these different tests, and then they tried to see all these doctors. I think I saw over 25 doctors.
Wow.
And then I guess part of it was also they didn't want me to sue them, or whatever, because so they did all these doctor's appointments to try and prolong the required length of time to sue. And then they had me so say that again. They tried to prolong the diagnosis. We'll try this test. Well, because I was naive, I didn't know, no one knew what was going on. But
so they were still trying to cover their own butt.
Yeah. And then so then we went to a chiropractor, and he was the one that figured it out.
Did you guys end up suing?
No. We looked into it, but I guess because the surgery was experimental, you can't, there's not enough research to show.
Wow. And silly question, have you talked to the surgeon since?
No. Because when we tried to contact them, they wanted nothing to do with us.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's clear that...
Not even an apology or anything?
No, nothing, yeah.
So it completely changed your life and can't even acknowledge the fact that they did that?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. What was it like going home that first day?
So then, we had to fly to Virginia to have the experimental surgery because there's only a few doctors in the United States that do it. So we had to fly to Virginia to have the surgery. And then then obviously I was on crutches, but at least I was able to at least move a little bit of my lower leg, which before I had no movement at all. It was just tremor and
Wow. What's your relationship right now with your parents?
Next week on the Embracing the Journey podcast.
I wanted to ask what it's like to be a female in the sports space.
Just because we are women, it doesn't mean that we can't do everything like, the other gender can do. We still have the drive. We still have the determination.